Hello, Daily Drafters. Today is Thursday, December 16th, and thanks for joining me for today's Daily Draft. Today will be another Crimson Vow Premier Draft, hopefully turning around this bit of a losing streak we've got going. All right, and we're all queued up and ready to go. Okay, so here we are in Pack 1, Pick 1. I've played with Edgar twice so far in this format, and I've been slightly underwhelmed, to be honest. Maybe I'm not playing with this card correctly. Usually when I play it, it just kind of sits there and acts as a 4/4, and then at some point they exile it, and then it doesn't matter. So maybe I just need to be trading it off, getting the coffin going, and then flipping it back to the other side. There is Bloodtithe Harvester, Lantern Bearer, Diagraph Scavenger in this pack, but I think Edgar has too much of a ceiling to not take it here. I do think this is one of the rares that I'm not going to be completely married to, like others, like Dreadfeast Demon or Averbrook Caretaker or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and take Edgar here and kind of feel out the packs as to what's coming our way. So if we don't even consider Edgar in our pile, what's the best card here? Maybe Edgar's Awakening or Hopeful Initiate, possibly Biolume Egg, but I don't know if we want to try to go down this route. If this wheels, then Blue-Black could be wide open, but I think Edgar's Awakening might just be the most powerful card in this pack. Hopeful Initiate is fine, but if you really don't get an aggressive deck, this card does almost nothing. Whereas Edgar's Awakening, we can play Awakening with Edgar himself. We can awaken Edgar. No, just kidding. He never goes to the graveyard unless you discard him. So, but that could be a good combo with Edgar's Awakening, or with Edgar himself. So, I think we'll take the Awakening here. And note if Biolume Egg wheels. That could be an important thing to note here. Okay, so in pick 3... very underwhelming pack. There is an Odric Bloodcursed, but I haven't been a big fan of this card. It's basically a 3-mana 3/3 that sometimes creates a couple of blood tokens, which is fine, but it's not game warping. Then again, nothing here is really game warping. There's a Flourishing Hunter, which I like. There's Desperate Farmer. There's Raconteur, which is another card that I like. I don't know exactly which route to go down here. I do like the black-red spells deck. If you can get a Raconteur or two plus some Flame Breathers, and then just kind of go to town on black and red removal spells, that deck is really fun. We can look to splash Edgar or not even splash Edgar if it doesn't work out that way. But I'll take the highest upside card here. Okay, so now we have a lot of good black and white, along with the black-white gold card. Is it worth taking Markov Purifier here over something like Fierce Retribution or Edgar's Awakening is the question. I don't think we're going to follow up with the red card to the Raconteur. So I don't know if we need a second Edgar's Awakening. Fierce Retribution or Markov Purifier is basically where I'm leaning here. And there's only going to be 3 cards out of this pack that wheel. And I doubt in pack 1 it would be the Purifier because somebody could move in on that. And I'd like to see if we can carve out a bit of a black-white lane here. I know we're passing... The next best cards in this pack are black and white, which is a bit unfortunate for us. But we're not moving into any of these other colors for any of these cards. So let's take the black-white card and a third Edgar's Awakening. I think I'll take this one. I know it's our second, but I think I'll take this one over something like Doomed Dissenter, Rot-Tide Gargantua, Scattered Thoughts. So we'll go ahead and take a second Edgar's Awakening here. Oh, Brinecomber. Brinecomber's a card I really love, and you know what? There's really nothing else in this pack I'd want to consider playing in black-white, except maybe Vampire's Kiss. It goes well with Markov Purifier at the very least. I'm going to take the Brinecomber and see if this is open. Okay, and then there's basically a whole lot of nothing here. In black-white, I mean, we can take Shattered Sanctum, which can help us possibly splash Edgar if we go blue-white or something like that. I think this is the best card here. For us, everything else is very meh. So we'll just take the land. And then get past Rot-Tide Gargantua, I guess, is the best card here. Maybe Massive Might, but we're not looking to be green. Either of these cards are fine, not great. Don't want to play either of these cards, and Bloody Betrayal as well. So we'll just take the black card here and kind of feel it out, see where we can go. So it just looks like these packs have been pretty underwhelming. Again, that's one thing I've noticed about this format. When you get to, you know, pick 8, 9, 10, 11, a lot of these picks just don't matter. Like, how many of these would I even be happy putting in a deck? Maybe a copy of Snarling Wolf, maybe Respiratory Scob if I'm in the right deck. But none of these are really where I want to be. Again, I mean, maybe a Sure Strike. Mind Leech Ghoul and Sanctify to go with black and white. I don't want either of those cards. So let's just take that. Odric did wheel. So I guess we can just take it, but it's either that or Adamant Will, and I guess we can just take Odric here. Again, a bunch of nothing. Bunch of nothing. So the last, like, 6 picks there were basically irrelevant for almost anyone. So let's see if we can open something good in pack 2 here to kind of secure a lane for us. And I think we do in Savior of Olenbach. So 3 mana 1/2 training. Whenever it trains, exile another target creature from the battlefield or from a graveyard. And then when it leaves the battlefield, put those cards on the battlefield under their owner's control. So basically you can either get rid of their creatures on the battlefield, and then when this dies, they get them back. Or you can start exiling creature cards from your graveyard. And then when this leaves the battlefield, we get those creatures back, which could be insane. So we're definitely taking Savior of Olenbach here. And I would love to see some Traveling Ministers floating around here. There's a lot of good cards for the blue-white deck here as well. But we'd love to see some Traveling Ministers for this black-white deck that we've got going on. Here, there's a Flame Blessed Bolt. There's an Ancestor, a Twin Blade Geist. Point of discussion. I think Flame Blessed Bolt is the best card in the pack. We only have the Raconteur, and we're leaning a lot more black-white right now. And I think black-white wants to be life gain. I think Twin Blade Geist is a better card than Kindly Ancestor. But we're going to take Kindly Ancestor for the Markov Purifier, life, and life gain kind of thing going on. We really, really need to see Traveling Ministers and or Heron of Hopes for this deck to really tick. If we just don't see them, then we found a decent lane for ourselves, but if the power isn't opened, it's just not opened. So here's a Traveling Minister. I think we're going to take it over basically anything in this pack. So we definitely got one of these, at least. So we're going to go ahead and slam Traveling Minister here. And then get basically completely cut out of black and white. There's a knife, there's a Vampire's Kiss, a Bride's Gown. Best cards are probably Swarm and Thoughts here. But I think we're pretty locked into black-white. Maybe we can consider splashing something if we wanted to. But we're pretty locked into black-white here. We have 6 creatures. I think Vampire's Kiss can wheel, even if we wanted a copy. So I'll take my first copy of Knife, which I don't mind playing in most decks. And there's Angelic Quartermaster. We're going to go ahead and take that. That'll be great. Really good with Olenbach, Ancestor, Purifier. You know, there's a lot of good cards this is good with. There's an Abrade. There's a Impulse. These are all good red cards, but I think we are here in black-white. And there's a Heron of Hope. That's something I'd really like. I wouldn't mind getting a copy, maybe even 2 of Undying Malice. Wouldn't be bad in this deck, but we want our first copy of Heron of Hope to go with our first copy of Traveling Minister here. So second Knife we aren't interested in. We'll take Point of Discussion. I think we can consider playing one of those cards. It's even better in a deck with life gain because it offsets that loss of 2 life there. So we're looking for more Ministers, more 2 and 3 drops, good 2 and 3 drops, and then maybe another very powerful card. Definitely more removal as well. I don't think we have any removal. Yeah, we have 0 removal. So even a Grizzly Ritual, would love to get a Bleed Dry, obviously. Sigarda's Imprisonment, these are all cards we haven't seen a single copy of. These are all some of the best black and white commons. So we've got a lot of good black and white uncommons, but we haven't seen any of the good commons. And I don't think it's because this deck isn't open. I think it's because they haven't been opened at the table. Don't think I really want to be playing either of these cards in this particular deck here. So put that in the sideboard. Don't really want any of these either. And here we are at the point of the pack where basically nothing's coming around. It's a really late pack song puck, but we're not quite in that deck. So we've only got 12 playables. I mean, we have more, but I'd prefer not to be playing some of these cards here. So we're going to need like 11 more playables in pack 3. Maybe we could play a second point of discussion. We'll see. And here. So let's get lucky with another Traveling Minister. I think that's totally fine. Would love to wheel an Undying Malice here. What's interesting is that Vampire's Kiss didn't wheel, and I've never seen this card cast. I think if there's a deck for it, it would be this one. And it didn't even wheel for us. But we're going to go ahead and take the Traveling Minister here and be very happy with it. Would love to wheel Malice. I think that's this, and maybe Kiss are the only other cards I'd be willing to play out of this pack. But we'll go ahead and slam a Traveling Minister. Currently at 9 creatures, so we definitely need to lean on the side of drafting creatures unless we see very premium removal spells. We're going to go ahead and take Catilda here. That goes well in any deck that has planes, so we will definitely take Catilda and be very happy with that. Would love a copy of Blood Fountain. Wouldn't mind playing Griff Rider or Shield Basher. Even a Gift of Fangs, possibly. So I think we can wheel something out of this pack here. But we're definitely taking Catilda. So here in this pack, 0 black cards. Arm the Cathars is not really for us. Heron Blessed Geist, we don't have a lot of enchantments. Militia Rallier is probably where we have to go. I don't like it. Well, I don't love it, but it's fine. It's a creature. Arm the Cathars, not really for this deck, I don't think. So we're going to go ahead and take Militia Rallier here. Another Arm the Cathars, but our second copy of Heron of Hope is going to be great with Double Minister. Wouldn't mind wheeling Adamant Will. If one of these Cathars wheeled, I might consider playing it, depending on how many creatures we end up with by the time they come back around. But we'll take Heron of Hope. Maybe even a Bloodcrazed Socialite wheeling might not. Well, that probably won't happen, but I would play one. So we'll take Heron of Hope here. And hope that we can outrace some of these more aggressive decks with our life gain aspect here. And then all the good cards are in the same pack here. Let's take a look at our curve. We have a lot of 3s already, so I'm going to go ahead and take Diregraph Scavenger. It is a life gain card. I wouldn't mind playing a Gluttonous Guest. I don't think this is a Catapult fodder deck. We have Ancestor, Olenbach, Purifier, double Heron of Hope, so maybe it is, but can't take that over Scavenger here. Okay, so interesting pick, a third Heron of Hope or a first Blood Fountain. We do have double Edgar's Awakening, so Blood Fountain is a little less of a priority for us. And I did mention we want as many creatures as we can get, and there is one of these floating around the table. If we see one pack 6, we might get lucky and see one come around. But because of the double Edgar's Awakening, I'm willing to take a creature over Blood Fountain here. So Resistance Squad, how many humans do we have? 4. So 3 mana 3/2 that could draw a card. Or another 5-drop. We'll go ahead and take this. It is another creature, and it has the ability to draw a card when it enters the battlefield, which is not so bad. We can get our first copy of Grizzly Ritual, and we never saw a single Bleed Dry or a Sigarda's Imprisonment this entire draft. So I feel like we found a decent open lane. We have a decent deck, but we just didn't really get there on removal. So we're going to take Gift of Fangs to get at least some removal. Probably aren't going to play Nurturing Presence. I think we can play an Adamant Will. It seems fine enough. Don't need Sanctify. I'll take the uncommon here. Alright, and so we don't have too many cuts to make. In fact, this could just be the deck right here. Let's see if there's anything in the sideboard we'd be willing to bring in. Looks like we messed up on the 2-drop. We saw no Drogskull Infantries. There's a Perish Blade Trainee, but... Yep, we have way too many 3-drops and not enough 2s. So this is going to be a bit of an awkward deck. Again, we saw, like, we got double Minister, triple Heron, you know, Edgar, Markov Purifier, double Awakening Quartermaster. We have some good uncommon and even rare power, but the commons weren't opened for us. Like I mentioned, no Bleed Dries, no Imprisonments, no white 2-drops, no Vampire Slayers. I don't think I saw a single one of those. I don't think I saw a single copy of Drogskull Infantry, you know. Just didn't quite get lucky with the commons. So, I don't think we need to splash here. Odric, I don't think is worth splashing. The only other card I would think about bringing in is Perish Blade Trainee. And then what will we cut for it? Maybe a second appointed discussion because our 3-drop slot's a little crowded. I don't hate that. It just gives us a body on 2. It's not the worst thing in the world to sacrifice to something like Gargantua if we get to that point in the game here. Can be trained by our Flying Herons. Works well with Minister to give something else, +1/+0 to train it. So I think adding just a 2-drop in the mix can do us good. And I think 17 lands is fine because we have to make sure we hit our 3rd land drop and ideally our 4th and 5th on time as well. So here we are. Would love for you to go ahead and consider clicking that subscribe button here. I really appreciate anyone who is new to the channel, who has watched videos before. If this is your first video, welcome. If this isn't your first video, then go ahead and consider clicking that subscribe button if you haven't already. Because if you come back for more, then I'd love for you to get have it on your news feed so you can have even better access to it going forward. I've really enjoyed making this content for you all and for myself, and I really look forward to hopefully being able to do so more in the future. So let's hop on into round 1 here. So here's the problem with our deck. We have the 1-drop, but then we don't have anything till 4 and 5. So, I mean, we're going to keep it, but we have a ton of 3-drops that we could at least cast if we don't draw another land. So there is that. I think I'd be... Well, I don't know if I'd be willing to trade this. Let's see, so if I attack, we're trading 2 for 3, and if I gain a life, we're just taking 1 from this. We're trading 1 for 2. Guess we'll just gain a life here. Oh, and that's a bad start for our removal-less deck. Probably going to get run over real quick here and draw another 5-drop. At this point, I'm willing to trade with Pack Leader. Maybe they have a trick, but we'll let them get rid of it. If they don't, they'll probably play a post-combat wolf. There's the werewolf, and we will draw another card we can't cast. So, looks like we'll be on to round 2 in short order here. I wonder if this deck needs 18 lands, because I think this is the way we lose with this deck, right? We have nothing but 4s, 5s, and 6s in hand. So, we might need to consider going to 18 here. I know there's the potential to flood out if we do that, but we could just have another game like we just did where we don't even play. Let's see, so if we cut something like a second to Edgar's Awakening and added a land here, because we just basically got run over and had nothing to say about it. I feel like every time we draft a little bit more of a controlling, grindy deck, we go up against aggro and get kind of destroyed by getting run over before we can make a play. And then whenever we draft an aggressive deck, we go up against like a mid-range deck. We can just do what we're doing better. So this curve is pretty good for us. So we'll go 1 drop, 2 drop into draw a card. They have Undying Malice here, so we'll have to keep that in mind. Okay. We'll gain a life, but we don't have attacks. They're thinking hard here. Okay, so Catapult Fodder makes it difficult for us to get through. So we could attack, but this doesn't really do anything on this board because they have a 1/5 now. So I think we could just play Purifier, and then next turn we could play Quartermaster to see where we want to put some things. The knife does open attacks though, so if we play knife, equip Resistant Squad, give it +1/+0, it is a 5/2 that can trade with fodder at the very least. That gives us a blood token as well. I think I'm willing to go ahead and advance our board first here. So let's just do this. We'll play this because we can, and then no attacks. The Purifier plus the Minister is a good combo too. We can just tap to draw a card. Tap this creature, pay 2, draw a card, assuming both survive. But next turn I think we just have to slam the Quartermaster and then go from there. Probably have a bleed dry up, so let's see what we want to train, or what we want to put the counter on. Probably here and here to distribute our wealth, because we want to keep Purifier and Minister around. So let's see if they get rid of one of these in response. They almost assuredly have some sort of removal spell. We might just want to use it on the Quartermaster, to be honest. Yeah, so there's the removal spell. This doesn't matter. Do they have another? Right, so now I think we do have attacks. So again, we think they have Undying Malice, but maybe they use it just to chump here. They could also have Fierce Retribution. They could have a lot of things. Yeah, so they were debating which one to kill. And that probably seems like the correct answer, because next turn we can start going off with Minister and that. Maybe that was an argument not to attack with that, but we do have a Quartermaster left over at the very least. I think I'm alright with that. And right on time is Edgar, so we can play the land, do both of these. We don't currently have any vampires, so we don't need to do that pre-combat. So let's play the land. We can equip Resistance Squad here. Hopefully they don't have another Parasitic Grasp. And then we'll go ahead and pump the Quartermaster. And get in there. Hopefully no more Fierce Retributions either. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and play Edgar. Then no plays. That's good news for us. Heron of Hope. Can't quite block the Quartermaster here, so that's good news. Maybe digging for a Gift of Fangs to put on something. Oh, they're flipping their catapult fodder. That makes sense. We'll discard that. Oh, so close. So we can pump Resistance Squad and get in. They might have to trade with catapult fodder, because Quartermaster already has a good attack here. Edgar does not have a good attack. Basically, Edgar would trade with Heron of Hope if we attacked with it. Is that worth it? Oh, that's right. They do have an Undying Malice. So Catapult Captain's probably coming back, but it'll come back on the front side, flip next turn. Or Heron of Hope, they might bring back to make it have a good block on the Quartermaster here. I think we can actually attack with Edgar here. Because let's see, they have to block Resistance Squad no matter what. Let's say they chump, and then chump here. They can bounce this one, and that's all good for us. Sure. Let's see what they want to let return. Okay, so they're probably going to return either the Captain or the Hope. Yeah, they're going to return Heron of Hope, which makes sense. The next turn we can just kill it and get in. We will equip probably just equip here and then end turn. All right, no removal. Okay. Still dead to a Quartermaster plus Ritual here. This does have Death Touch, so that's interesting to note, and a Courier Bat. So now they're not dead anymore, but they're not looking great. Okay, that resolves. So this is a point in previous games where I wouldn't attack with Edgar just to keep him back, but at this point I want to try something different and get in with Edgar. They're almost assuredly going to trade with Scavenger, but it flips him, and then we start pumping out 1/1s, and then they're under a ton of pressure. So let's go ahead and kill their Heron of Hope. And I'm willing to trade Edgar for the Scavenger here and see what they do. Makes sense. And looks like that'll do it. So maybe that's the way you need to be playing with Edgar. Just aggressively trade with him and then start getting the vampires going on the backside, and eventually he'll just come back. Had a good matchup there against another kind of a black-white grindy deck. I think those are going to be good matchups for us. If we run up against red-green and are on the draw, it's not going to be too great. So let's hope we're on the draw, and let's hope we don't see Mountain. Okay. Could be worse. Another black-white deck. I think this might be a decent matchup for us here. And they missed a land drop, so that's obviously good news. They have Fierce Retribution. It'd be fine if they want to kill this. Okay, so do they want to kill Kindly Ancestor? I'm fine if they want to do that as well, because we get a training trigger here. Sure. And we'll play Heron of Hope. Maybe they have another one, but let's play Point of Discussion, see if we can found a swamp here. Now we can give lifelink to something, or we can just hold this up. Let's see. I don't want to give this to something and then have them have another Fierce Retribution. So let's see if they do. They don't have another one. So we can give lifelink, or we can discard. We don't need lifelink. Do we have any 1 or 2 drops? We do have a couple Traveling Ministers, so let's see if we can find that here. Did not. Okay. Looks like, okay, they found a land. Is it too little, too late? Let's see. We do have a removal spell if they want to go for something here. We could just play Catilda and Ancestor. Fell Stinger, okay. Fine trading off training for that. Another Plains. I think I wouldn't mind going Ancestor into Catilda and trade off trainee if they want to. Let's do that. Hope they don't draw another land for Bleed Dry on Catilda, because it feels like they always do. We'll put the counters here, because I think they're more incentivized to kill Catilda. There's the land. And here... Okay, just Cavalry, that's fine. Oh my gosh, all of the lands. We'll kill this one. And then get in there. And we'll dump a land here. Sorry, we are playing 18, like I mentioned. But look, we didn't get screwed at the beginning, which is super important. And we do have a couple ways to make blood tokens, which is good for us. I'm usually not at all a fan of playing 18 lands, but with this deck, I feel like it's pretty important. So let's see what we can find first. We'll get rid of a plains here. Markov Purifier. Seems good. We could do that, pay 2 and draw a card. We don't need to trade off Catilda. Rot-Tide Gargantua is not lethal on this board because we'd sacrifice it to itself. They'd sacrifice that, but we would not have enough. Let's see, number of spirits or enchantments, so we can't add any of those. We could. Yeah, so we'll just go Heron of Hope here, attack. Play Purifier, draw a card, end of turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Guess we'll play the land here. Another good draw. That looks like a desperation play on their part. Oh no. Oh no, do they have a board wipe? There it is. Okay, so we can return Heron of Hope with Edgar's Awakening. We can also, yeah, so we can pay, we have 9 mana, 5 plus, yeah, that's all. We can only cast 1 spell here. Or we could just play a 5 mana 5/4. That also seems pretty good. But Heron of Hope, yeah, this is just lethal. So let's do that. We'll decline. We'll hold the land and see if they have anything to do about it. I guess there was an argument to playing the land, because if we draw another one next turn, we can play 2 5-drops. So, it might have been incorrect, but hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us. Okay. So 5 mana removal, basically. Yeah, so there's the other land, unfortunately, so I kind of messed that one up. I think we can just return another Gargantua with an Edgar's Awakening. Make them have another answer to it. Yeah, so playing that land last turn would ensure us to have 2 lethal threats now, which might make a difference here. Let's hope it doesn't, but here we are. Alright, it doesn't matter. Awesome. Alright, so 0-1 with 17 lands and 2-0 with 18 lands. So let's see if that streak continues here. 3, 4, 5, and we can cast at least these two. We do have a couple of plays we could do earlier, but not many, and we're on the draw, so ability to go wrong once again if they curve out with red-green aggro, but not something we can really mulligan. All right. Not too worried about that. Okay. We're just going to play our 3-drop. Okay. Yeah, they're just looking for a 2/2, I guess. Sure. We'll play our scavenger here. And no attacks. Hopefully we draw a land next turn, that way it really opens up our hand here. And if we don't, we can at least hold up Adamant Will and play a knife. So there's that, but a land would really open up our hand here. No land, we're playing 18 of them. Couldn't find it. Alright, so we do not have a human on board or in hand for Resistance Squad. So I think I'm willing to just play knife and hold up Adamant Will. Because we have the better late game so far, unless they prove that they can draw something better than that. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. We can block with Purifier, give it Adamant Will. Yeah, that's fine. There's the land. That's good news for us. And I think we just go to town with the Quartermaster here. Put counters on these two. And I think we have decent attacks. With at least the Purifier. Well, the Purifier we get in, we basically trade it for a Socialite. I don't know if we're willing to do that. So at this, we're taking 5 on the backswing to a Socialite here. But we're trading for 3, and we're winning this race, I think. So let's get in there and see if they want to do anything about it. They don't. What we can do here is if they want to attack with this and they tap out before they do so, we can double block. They'll kill the Quartermaster. We can return it with Edgar's Awakening, get even more value. That could be something that's pretty good for us, but I don't know if I'm willing to do that into open mana. Okay, so they did tap out. Let's see if they want to attack with the Socialite. They're thinking about it. They don't. So we can go Ancestor Equip here. I think that seems like it's the best option for us. There's also Resistance Squad, but it's just a 3-mana 3/2. There's a 5-mana 5/4 that just sits there. Let's play Ancestor. And then equip Quartermaster. And get in with just this one now. I feel like if they had an answer to Quartermaster, they would have used it last turn, so it looks like they're top decking for an answer to Quartermaster here. Not particularly worried about that. Okay. We can just do this. And they're probably going to trade with Purifier if we do this. So, I don't think we need to block here. A land. So Gargantua on this board is just going to be a 5-mana 5/4. We can discard this Plains. We can play a 3-mana 3/2. We could see what we draw. I think I'm interested in kind of just seeing what we draw here. Okay, so that's a bit awkward that we discarded our 6th land to do that. But it looks like we're just going to play a 3-mana 3/2, I guess. Yeah, we'll do that. We could actually trade something if they attack again. Discard Edgar's Awakening to the Blood token and return whatever to our hand that they chose to kill. Which is pretty good value here. Actually, no, we can't do that because we have to pay an extra black for Edgar's Awakening. So we do not want to do that. So they're on a 2-turn clock. Means they have to top deck removal for Quartermaster basically next turn. I think if they attack with Wedding Security, I'm just going to trade with Scavenger. It seems like a fine deal for me. They're just trying to find an extra card to deal with Quartermaster. So that does, forgot about the guess, that does change the clock here for Quartermaster. This pass to blocker is definitely fine trading here. And we could trade here as well, so that they can stop sacrificing. I think that's all right. Alright, so do we want to get rid of anything in our hand? I think the Gargantua on this board is just a 5-mana 5/4, which is not great. It's just going to kind of sit there and be defensive, so I'd actually like to get rid of it. Minister isn't a bad draw, and Oldenbach is not a bad draw. Alright, so yeah, let's just get in there. We'll play Minister, and we'll play Savior. Then we'll end the turn. I don't think we need to discard either of these, but we'll see. Right now we could get back a Scavenger with Awakening if they don't kill the Quartermaster, which of course they do. Now we're going to have to get back the Quartermaster, I think. Okay, so they want to create an insect here. Fine trading with either one of these. Sure. My turn, an extra land, not awful. Let's bring Quartermaster back. We know we want to do that. Put the counters here and here. Now, if we attack with Savior, we can put something like Diagraph Scavenger underneath it. But it will die if we do that. But then we'll basically trade this for, like, a zombie and an insect. And get back a Diagraph Scavenger in the process. Is that worth it here? We're going to play our land. We know that because we want to have up Grisly Ritual next turn. I think that's okay. Because we're only going to get one attack in with this, I think. So let's train it. I think we're going to do Scavenger. Why is it telling us that? When it trains, exile up to one other target creature card from a battlefield or a creature card from a graveyard. When it leaves the battlefield, put the exiled cards onto the battlefield under their owner's control. I think that's something we want to do. Right? Am I reading that wrong? I hope I'm not. So, yes. Hopefully I'm not reading that wrong. If I am, this will be a decent learning moment for us. So let's trade with these two. Go to damage. Yeah, there we go. That's what I thought. What do we want to get rid of? Probably... I don't know, so they can get something back. Probably want to get rid of this, because it can create more chump blockers for them. And we'll end the turn. Okay. They have to sacrifice blood tokens to survive to Quartermaster here. Let's go ahead and give it lifelink. We will pump it. Could we attack with Scavenger? It would basically trade for the Squire here. Actually wouldn't, because they can flip that, so we don't want to do that at all. So let's get in with Quartermaster. They're going to have to sacrifice a blood token to gain a life, or kill it with 2 mana. Ooh, not bad. That's a decent little combo there. I don't think anything in their graveyard is really going to save them at this point. They kind of have to hope they draw into removal, which they did last time. So hopefully they don't this time. We'll do pointed discussion here. Oh, that's awkward. Auto tapper, why you do this? We can get rid of the swamp. And now I guess we can just play Minister. This is a little awkward. We're kind of riding on the back of this quartermaster here, but let's hope we can get us across the finish line. Looks like they're digging, and it looks like they found an answer. Or at least they're hovering over it, so let's see. Yep, that's a temporary answer for the moment. Do they have another one? No. Okay, so we can get it up to 4. I think we still have lethal now. Pretty sure we do, so let's equip it. Let's give it +1/+0. +1/+0. And there we go. Really close there at the end, but we managed to push through. Alright, another bit of an awkward hand for us, but at least we're on the play this time. Might be the first time this draft we're on the play, so we can kind of get a creature out there a little early. We have plenty of decent draws with this hand here, so... not a bad one. Can't attack alone. I think I'm gonna do this one first over the Purifier, because if they want to remove it, I want this one removed over the Purifier. So they did top deck out of their land situation and play a 3/3, okay? Let's do Rallier here. Threatens a block on the Stalker. So they mulliganed. It looks like they kind of drew out of all their stuff, and now they're just playing chonkers on us, which is not good news. So we can play Pointed Discussion, use the blood token to discard Edgar's Awakening, pay a black to return the Purifier. No, we can't return the Purifier because it won't be in the graveyard. I think I'd like to ensure that we can cast Ritual next turn, so I'm going to go ahead and cast Pointed Discussion here. And Gift of Fangs. Do we just use that now? Could use that now on this and it becomes a 3/2, which would still trade with one of our creatures, but at least we're not taking 5. Yeah, I think I want to do this now. So that we're not super behind and go to 13 or something. Or if they have a removal spell for the Rallier, we go to like 10 which is not great. See what their follow-up is here. I'll happily trade off both these creatures for theirs if they don't have anything to say about it. Okay, so they'll draw a card. This isn't great news, but it is news. Okay. Alright, so we can play Ritual, but there's really nothing on this board I'm super interested in killing, so I'm just going to go ahead and play Purifier here. We can discard the planes. and get a quartermaster, which is a good draw. So hopefully they just play some random dorky 3-drop or something, and then we can pump both of our lifelinkers next turn and drop a 3/3 flyer, which would be really good news. Then we could probably just jam with attacks there. We'd be getting in for 9 with 6 of it being lifelink. See what they play. So I'll block this one because these are the two I want to be giving with giving the counters on Quartermaster here. Looks like they have Wolf Strike. So they're debating using their Wolf Strike, and if they do, we're not going to get as much value off the Quartermaster unless we draw something that we can play before it. If they save the Wolf Strike, yeah, there it is right now, so makes sense. Adamant Will. It'd be great to play Quartermaster and have up Adamant Will, which would mean we need another land, so can play Ritual on here. We still have good blocks. We can return the Purifier to the battlefield, but I think I want to save Awakening for the Quartermaster here. And even though we're not getting that second counter, we do have Awakening to bring it back, and we have a 3/4 lifelinker, which is good on this board. So let's actually just play this. And then next turn, we'll see if it survives. So they have their own, which is not good news for us. Okay, so we can play Awakening plus hold up Adamant Will to bring back Purifier. We can also just like kill their Quartermaster. So if we kill their Quartermaster, we're taking 4 on the backswing. We're trading 3 for 4. We could kill their Stalker, trade Quartermasters, and then bring ours back. This still threatens a trade here. This is a bit awkward. We can also just play Edgar's Awakening, hold up Adamant Will, but that's not great on this board. It's really not. I think I want to kill something. And I think I want it to be their Stalker. And we can hold this for the blood tokens. They did get to 6 mana here. I really hope they don't have like Averbrook Caretaker or something. But even then, we'd just scoop no matter what. So, okay, so no attacks. Resistance Squad. We do not have a human. There's one here. Okay, so we can discard the land, play Resistance Squad, hold up Adamant Will. I think I'm alright with that. So we'll play Resistance Squad, we'll hold up Adamant Will, and I think we'll hold this Swamp as well for another blood token. Really wish I would have held on to the Gift of Fangs on this board, but I don't think we could have because we'd be dealing with a 5-4 and now a 6-5, which is not easy for us to deal with here. So let's see what their follow-up is. That's a good one, that's for sure. Resolves. Jeez. God, that card is so good sometimes. Other times it does stone cold nothing, but yep. Okay. So this is going to put a counter somewhere. Let's pass to blockers. We'll do this, and then we'll save this with Adamant Will. Take 7. Okay. Or I'm going to try to at least and hope they don't have Wolf Strike. Okay, good, they don't. Alright. Let's... So this Quartermaster on their side is a little awkward for us to deal with because we can't block it right now. We could lifelink ours up and do that race, but let's see what we find off of this blood token first. An extra land, so we'll play this one. And do we return anything to the battlefield here? Maybe just this because it blocks well on this board. I don't like it, but the Purifier doesn't do much on this board either, so I guess we're going to do this and return the Rallier. It feels bad, but both of these block well on this board, and if they don't have removal for our Quartermaster, we can try to race theirs with Lifelink. Okay, I forgot about flipping werewolves, which is not good news. So we'll go knife. We will equip Quartermaster and get in there with lifelink. Create a blood token and get rid of it. And draw another. Okay. At least we flipped them back. Yeah, alright, that's difficult there. Because now we lost our lifelink. Bleeding Spirit can gain first strike, so we can't attack. Guess we'll play the Minister. We will equip Knife. Doesn't really matter here. I think we might just get outraced here. Yeah, because next turn we're basically taking 7. We can chump with the Minister, which we might have to do. Just to try to draw out of this. I still think 18 lands in this deck is correct. You know, the first game was the perfect example of what could happen with 17, and we've been in all the games that we've had 18 so far. This one, we just kind of, they drew the removal and we don't have any, so that's kind of what did us in here. And yeah, there's another land. I think we have to swing in with Resistant Squad just to find something. So we will get rid of a land. Draw another land, and then block and die. So, yep. So it turns out our bad matchups are when they play creatures, which is not good in limited for us to have a bad matchup against. But yeah, if they play creatures and then remove ours, we don't have the removal for theirs, so we can't trade in blocking and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of gets out of hand pretty quick. Awkward hand, but we'll keep it. We have a lot of 3-drops we can draw. Hopefully we find one of them. Okay. Nope. Don't want to give that Gift of Fangs, so... At least we aren't getting run over by an aggro deck here. So, there's that. Hopefully they miss a land drop. Nope, they find it. Of course they do. And if they leave up all their mana... Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna play Edgar here. That was quite the animation. So they left up 3 mana here, which means they could have Syncopate for 3 or just counter target creature spell. So let's go to equip Edgar. We'll get in. I think I'm gonna play at least one of these to, well, that doesn't get around Gift of Fangs. I want to Gift of Fangs the Minister, but if they have Syncopate for X equals 2, I guess we can do that here. So let's do this so we can get around Syncopate. I had a fleeting moment where I thought that might have been a vampire, which would not be good for us. So we'll get rid of that. And then we can hold up the blood token. We can actually just do that now in case we find one of our own traveling ministers. Nope, okay. So this is gonna get rid of a Gift of Fangs, probably, when it attacks. Don't think I care about that too much. Or land. So that doesn't do anything for them. They hit a minister. Okay, so we have an Edgar's Awakening with nothing to return. We can do Scavenger, pitch the land, exiling their minister. do that. Scavenger here. We'll get rid of this while getting's good. And we'll get rid of our land. Adamant Will, not a bad draw. Still think we're kind of on the back foot here, because all they have to do is have like a Sigarda's Imprisonment and we're basically just dead. They're hitting us for at least 5 flying every turn. Adamant Will doesn't protect against Imprisonment. Okay, let's... guess we're gonna attack here. They're gonna chump. Okay. I think we need to play a Gargantua to at least threaten a block on the infantry so we're not taking so much. What we could do is we could play Gargantua, sacrifice the Scavenger. They would probably get rid of infantry. And then they would put that on one of these, which is not good for us. So we don't want to sacrifice here. Okay, so they had the counterspell, which is not great, to be honest, because now we're taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yikes. Okay. Do we play the land for any reason? I think we do, just so we can have more options next turn, as far as like discarding things. We'll have to see what they play here. They might not attack with infantry because they know they might be dead on the backswing. They will, so it's going to be 5, 6, 7, so we're going to 5. Don't like it. Which means we're dead to 2 flyers next turn. They could just hold up counterspell mana. Yeah, they're just going to hold up counterspell mana. We'll get rid of this because this doesn't do anything anymore. As long as they have Illuminator, it doesn't really do anything. Okay, well there is that. That at least lets us survive, I think. Well, not really, because again, if they have Counterspell, they would have to have Syncopate to counter this. So we're dead. We can attack with both Adamant Will, and then they're dead. Ancestor doesn't do anything. So basically our options are Grizzly Ritual this, or Adamant Will one of ours to go for the win. Adamant Will, if we go for it and it misses, then we just straight up lose. If we go for this, the only card that can get us is Syncopate. That's it. But with this, any removal or bounce spell can get us, so there's fewer outs for them to have if we go with Grizzly Ritual. I don't like our position either way. But we're not in a position to really be choosy. So, yep, I guess we go for it and hope they don't have Syncopate here. Getting ready for the concession in the event that they do. There it is. Yeah, we kind of saw that one coming. So that was close. But flyers kind of got us there, and we didn't really draw enough gas to really get through, so. Felt like that deck was a little bit better than 3 and 3, but you know, that's kind of the theme of the format. Just either pretty bad, very mediocre, or just a couple of trophies. That's really kind of where we're leaning in this format so far. So, you know what? At least I hope this this white-black deck was pretty sweet to kind of. I think it was sweet to kind of put together and play. 18 lands is a kind of fun thing to put together when it doesn't usually come together for me, at least. But this one I think was correct. So, yeah, that looks like it'll do it for today's video. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow for your daily draft.